Some people don't chase anymore. They stopped because they've seen too much. The kind of devastation that rewires a human being from the inside out. When you survive something that should have destroyed you, you don't come back the same. You come back quieter, simpler. All that noise, the money, the status, the endless wanting, it just fades. And one thing takes its place. Inner peace. Not as a luxury, as a non-negotiable. This isn't giving up. This is what happens when the soul finally refuses to negotiate with chaos. Here's the pattern. Everyone who's been shattered shares it. For the rest of their existence, every single choice orbits one thing. Peace of mind. Not wealth. Not recognition. Not even love. If it threatens their calm, it's gone. If it serves their stillness, it stays. Because they've learned what most never do. Peace isn't free. And once you've bought it with suffering, you don't let anyone take it back. Psychologists have a name for this. Post-traumatic growth. But the label is too sterile. What actually unfolds is far more raw. Trauma doesn't just wound you. It cracks open your entire cognitive architecture. Everything you believed about the world, about people, about yourself, it all collapses. The safety you never questioned? Dissolved. And in that void, something primal takes over. Your mind stops reaching outward. It pivots inward. Every drop of psychological energy gets recalled, redirected toward one singular mission, building an inner fortress that nothing can penetrate. You have to understand what these people have witnessed. The darkest hallway of human nature. The kind of agony that doesn't just hurt. It reforms you at the molecular level. When you've been through that, the things ordinary people obsess over start looking absurd. Money? Status? Someone else's opinion of you. These things lose their mass. Because you've stood at the edge of something actual. Something heavy. And once you've tasted real despair, once you've spent nights staring at the ceiling, wondering if the world will devour you, the shallow stuff stops registering. What they fear now isn't being broke. It isn't losing face. It's the noise coming back. The spiral. The sleepless nights. The civil war inside. So they make cuts. Clean ones. Toxic people? Removed. Pointless social performance? Cancelled. Petty arguments? Not worth the oxygen. They stop debating who's right. They stop proving anything to anyone. Not because they're weak. Because they're efficient now. Every calorie of energy is accounted for. External variables are liabilities. Drama is leakage. Conflict is a tax they no longer pay. You cut the static outside so you can finally hear yourself inside. You stop bleeding energy into the world, and you start using it to hold yourself upright, to keep standing, to keep breathing, to remain whole. Hermann Hesse lived through war, through collapse, through the kind of upheaval that strips a person down to the bone. And he said it plainly. Once you've tasted enough suffering, enough chaos, enough of the world's casual brutality, all you want, in the end, is a quiet moment. Not an empire, not glory, just stillness. And that isn't weakness. That's where wisdom bottoms out. It's the exhaustion of a soul that has seen too much, and finally understands what actually matters. If any of this echoes, if you've pulled back, gone quiet, stopped chasing, don't misread it. You're not antisocial. You're not broken. You're not falling behind. You paid a terrible price for a truth most people never acquire. You know what's precious, and you know what's noise. That's not a defect. That's clarity. And clarity, in a world this deafening, is the closest thing to power. Are you really missing out on the world? Or have you finally stumbled onto the very stillness that everyone else is exhausting themselves trying to buy? Tell me your story in the comments. Someone reading your answer needs to hear it.